Welcome to Honest Weekly with Olga Nestorova. This is the show where we talk about stories that matter. We begin by visiting Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City and exploring Women Dressing Women exhibition. Then we pay tribute to Iris Apfel, the world's oldest teenager. We round it up by talking about longevity. Is it a dream that is available to us all? And we finish up with Honest Weekly, things and events that you should not be missing this upcoming week. Welcome to Honest Weekly. This is your host, me, Olga Nestorova. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the very first live stream. I call it Honest Weekly. The idea is to talk about the events that occurred in this week that is ending, also to pay your attention to the events that will be upcoming in the next week and celebrate people whose stories really matter. And of course, happy Women's History Month, happy International Women's Day to everybody who is watching either now or later. And to celebrate, literally yesterday on the Women's Day, I visited Met Museum, which is Metropolitan Museum of Art right here in New York, which I do have the advantage to really visit it quite often. It gives me tranquility. It provides that sense of peace in that ever-changing world. So I wanted to share my experience with you because currently, and actually unfortunately ending tomorrow, there is an exhibition by the Costume Institute that celebrates women and female designers who are dressing women for over 100 years. So to celebrate together, I want to invite you to enjoy it with me. So let's watch my report. To kick off Women's History Month celebration, I'm inviting you to Metropolitan Museum. Okay, this is a live stream, everybody. So there will be some hiccups, and I hope not now. So let's try it again. To kick off Women's History Month celebration, I'm inviting you to Metropolitan Museum of Art right here in New York City, where we will explore Costume Institute's exhibition, Women Dressing Women, that features over 70 female women's wear designers from 1910 to today, highlighting known voices and also brand new. Let's go. And so we've made it. Welcome to the Women Dressing Women exhibition, which is a celebration of the remarkable contributions of women fashion designers from the early 20th century to present day. This showcase is divided into 4 key notions: anonymity, visibility, agency, and absence omission, which takes us on a journey through the rich tapestry of women's influence in the fashion industry. In tracing the historical context, we delve into the time when the right of women to dress women was a slowly earned privilege. From the establishment of the first French Guild for women dressmakers in 1675 to the interwar years when women designers outnumbered their male counterparts in France, we actually witnessed the evolution of women's roles in shaping fashion. The exhibition sheds light on the challenges and achievements of women who became figureheads of fashion houses, such as Betsy Johnson, Vivienne Westwood, and others. These trailblazers not only advocated for professional autonomy, but also introduced elements of ease and freedom to women's clothing. As we explore the evolution of fashion, we observe the industry's transformation during the mid-century and the emergence of boutique culture. in the 1960s and 1970s. And designers like Betsy Johnson and Vivienne Westwood empowered women as both producers and consumers. Since the 1980s and 1990s, designers have increasingly experimented with ways to reclaim the body as a site of creative expression, disrupt conventional standards of beauty, and design inclusively for previously overlooked groups. Yet, the exhibition doesn't shy away from addressing the challenges women designers faced. It brings attention to social and structural inequities, the erasure of designers of color, and persistent exclusion of bodies deemed incompatible with traditional standards of feminine ideal. To conclude, Women Dressing Women prompts us to reflect on the profound impact women fashion designers have had on the industry. Their stories resonate with shifting aspects of agency, visibility, and anonymity throughout the time. And as we celebrate their achievements, we acknowledge the ongoing conversation surrounding these themes in the ever-evolving world of fashion. So if you would ask me, what stood out to me the most is actually the overall attention to detail, because some dresses are over 100 years old and they look almost brand new. So that speaks to the quality itself. But this dress in particular was just a big surprise, because you would think this is some kind of feather, right? No, those are actually monkey hairs. Could you guess it? Well, I certainly didn't. Well, thank you for watching, and this is Olga, live from Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City.
How amazing was that? Monkey hairs. For me, this was a stunner. And by the way, if you have a chance or get a chance to go to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, of course, if you have the chance to go today or tomorrow, you can still catch this exhibition because it ends on March 10th. But in general, it's a joy. So please visit if you're here. Now, let's continue on the topic of Women's History Month. And if you pay attention to Instagram, we just lost an icon. Fashion icon, style icon, Iris Apfel. And if you wonder who Iris Apfel is, I want to catch you up on that. So watch my report and then we discuss it.
Iris Apfel, born Iris Barrel on August 29, 1921, and passing away on March 1, 2024 at the age of 102 years old, was an American businesswoman, interior designer, and fashion icon, renowned for her vibrant style, bold personality, and distinctive oversized eyeglasses. Partnering with her husband Carl from 1950 to 1992, Apfel enjoyed a successful career in textiles, including a notable contract with the White House spanning 9 presidencies. Following her retirement, she gained recognition for her 2005 exhibition at the Metropolitan Museum of Art's Costume Institute, showcasing her extensive collection of costume jewelry displayed on mannequins dressed in her characteristic style. Apfel achieved fashion icon status, was the central figure in the 2014 documentary Iris by Albert Maysles. And remarkably, she signed with IMG as a model at the age of 97 in 2019.
An icon indeed. And can you imagine, this is the photograph of Iris Apfel, that this lady was born in 1921 and passed in 2024. She had 3.1 million followers on Instagram. This incredible lady, because we often see this in movies and we kind of, at least I am mesmerized by the fashion, by the classy looks and, all the styling that goes along. But really to see that this person actually was among us and inspired us up to very last day. She celebrated her 102nd and a half birthday because she was convinced at that age, and deservingly so, you may celebrate your half birthdays as well. So that was such a joy. But I want to show one video. I took it from Iris Apfel's Instagram, again, where she had 3.1 million followers. And I really encourage you to visit it because it's such an inspiration that really came from her. So this video is just 14 seconds long or short, right? But it will inspire you. So check this out.
Get old, but don't get boring. I'm Iris Apfel, the world's oldest living teenager. You can never stop being bold and having fun. Go wild and get comfortable outside of your comfort zone.
You can grow old, but you may not grow boring. So that's a big lesson for us, because if I look at myself, I'm quite boring. And so, that goes along with that. But really, I think for us women, specifically as we're celebrating Women's History Month, it's really important to choose the content and the creators we follow that will inspire us, whoever that is. If you're in athletics, you're in entertainment, perhaps celebrity culture, music, whatever that is, but really choose who you follow, because that is what will be feeding your mind and feeding your eyes, right? Whenever you open your social media, an algorithm will serve you as well, the content that you're interested in. So now I really want to talk about longevity. And we kind of, started with the fashion industry. We transitioned to Iris Apfel, who again lived 102 healthy years. And now I would love to share my interview that I had just yesterday with a tremendous, not just fitness trainer, but a leader himself, Brian Johnson. And perhaps you are familiar with his name, and certainly when you see him, you will recognize him. He has trained Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Justice Ginsburg, for over 20 years. He was her personal trainer. They had such a close relationship. So I had the chance and honor truly to interview him yesterday and ask him for the best tips. How can we stay healthy? How can we improve our chances for longevity and healthy, prolonged life? So I would love for you to check out this video, and please enjoy it. It's just about 17 minutes long, but really it will inspire you. I stand by it. So let's watch it. Brian Johnson spent over 30 years in the United States Army, with 12 of those years as a member of a Special Forces airborne unit. He's been training high-profile military and civilian personnel, including high-level federal court officials, justices, judges, attorneys, and clerks, for over 19 years. And if Brian looks familiar to you, yes, indeed, he is the creator and author of RBG Workout and Body Justice. He is certified personal trainer. He's master trainer in boxing, kickboxing, strength training, sports, and conditioning. He is the master trainer of the military and international trainer for military and civilian personnel throughout the world. Please welcome Brian Johnson. Hi, Brian. Welcome to the show. I'm so honored to talk to you today.
Hello. It is my honor, my pleasure to be on. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Let's get straight into the topic, because I know a lot of people were waiting to hear from you. Can you share perhaps any insights into any fitness routines, or perhaps any specific workouts you focused on to improve Justice Ginsburg's health and stamina for, 2 decades that you trained together?
Over 2 decades. And with the Justice, because she was a cancer survivor, but not just because she was a cancer survivor, but there are 5 components of fitness that I always focus on, not just a Justice, but any client or anyone who would ever ask me things. And those 5 components of fitness is muscle strength, muscle endurance, flexibility, body composition, and cardiovascular. So assessing the Justice, looking at those components, I focus mainly on the muscle strength, muscle endurance, flexibility, some of the cardio, and body composition. She could take care of that.
And that was actually my other question, is when I visited your website, which I truly encourage everybody to do, and you see the runner here, we learned so much about you and so much about your work. But what could be the principles if somebody, let's say, is getting there, right? They're in their 50s, 60s, 70s, perhaps 80s, they're listening, and they say, well, how can I still improve what I have now in order not to lose my flexibility or health?
Here is the number one thing that me and the justice established early on, and that was consistency.
Mm.
And when I say consistency, me and the justice, we would look at our calendars for a month, 2 months out, and we would set up training days twice a week consistently. And we would adjust and adapt to, I can only make it this time, this time, this time. And so it becomes a commitment to yourself. And so when I tell people starting off, be committed, do it for yourself. Don't do it for anybody else. I always say if a good body came in a box or a pill, everybody would have one. So your first thing is to get your mind ready to accept this challenge for yourself, if that kind of helps a little bit.
And recently I see people signing up for the gym. Of course, we're now in March, so we're really past the New Year's resolutions. But people are signing up for the gym, and they hope to sort of outcompete or outweigh the bad dieting choices. Is it a possibility, or does diet and exercise come always together if you really want success?
It's a combination exercise. I say it's a combination like shrimp fried rice. You always hear the saying you can't outwork a bad diet, but you have to do things in stages. Okay, I never focused the nutrition on my clients in the early beginning. The mere fact that you're showing up to the gym is a plus. Or the mere fact that you're working out, that's a plus. Once I get you consistently doing that, your body is going to crave healthier foods. Like after you finish working out and you're sweating, you actually crave water instead of a Coke. You're actually going to crave some healthier foods. So as you start working out more, your body is going to want healthier substitutions, healthier forms of fuel. And then you start to realize that your body is just like a fine machine, a fine automobile, for example. And if you got a high performance automobile, you can't give it the cheap fuel. You have to give it quality fuel in order for that machine to run better. And it's the same thing with the body. As you start working out more, you will automatically want to eat healthier.
And this is really listening to your body. I think that comes with age, though.
Yeah.
Because when we're young, I remember the time where I never partied, but I worked a lot. So you sleep 3-4 hours, you got a coffee, you're good. Now, no, you actually see it and you can't really function. So listening to your body is one thing. Now, a lot of people would say, I'm in New York City, people are stressed out, they're making big decisions, but then you train people who are civilians, but also military individuals who are really of this high caliber. They take those decisions, they make them, and they face a lot of stressful situations. How can somebody perhaps use fitness as to create a balance between the stressful work life and perhaps even stress at home?
That is a great question, and I want to talk about what me and the justice kind of came up with and created. It's something we call body justice. Body justice, but not body justice, but we call it dynamic wisdom. And so with dynamic wisdom, if you think about the justice, Supreme Court justice, there were 3 components that worked, and that's going to help everyone, in my opinion. And that's mind, body, and soul. Now remember, the Supreme Court justice, so she had the work of the Supreme Court. That stimulated, that fueled her mind. The next thing for the justice, what she loved more than anything else besides her family and working out with me, was the opera. She loved the opera. Well, what the opera was, it fueled her soul. You ever hear music or been live and feel the vibration of the music feeding your soul? That's what the opera did for her. I took care of the body. I trained, I pushed, I nourished the bodies. So those 3 components, mind, body, soul, all my clients, I always try to talk to them. Okay, what do you do outside of this? I said, you can't be bigger than the machine. I always used, I work at the federal courthouse and I was away for a while. I came back and I said, was the court closed while I was away? It's like, no. Okay, so there's no Bryant Johnson day off. So that means you're not bigger than machine. So you have to take time for yourself, for your mind, your body, and your soul all together. And that is what will be the key.
Wow. So you can't That's so deep. I hope everybody re-listens again to this answer because there's so many takeaways here, and I really love your approach. And I mentioned the uniqueness, but in my opinion, it's unique in a way where you include the entire life, right, and all components of a balanced life. Because I know we go a lot by looks or trends or things like that. What would you recommend to somebody? Because people, our attention span is very short. People would say, okay, give me 3 tips, give me 5 tips. What are perhaps 3 tips that everybody needs to follow?
First tip, why? Answer the question why. If you can answer the question why, then that's going to set you up for success the rest of the way. Now, if you don't know, if you can't answer the question why, or as like Nike said, Nike always says, just do it. I believe if you just show up, if you show up, that's the first step. Be consistent. Okay. And then your purpose. And and those things, why, show up, your purpose. If you do one of those 3, then the other 2 will all of a sudden appear and they will show themselves to you. Working out your body is probably the greatest machine known to mankind. Man still hasn't figured out everything, how the body does what it does. Everybody is unique, but the more that you take care of the body, the more that you work, you train, you feel your body, the better you understand your body. You understand your body better than some doctors. So show up, stay consistent, figure out your purpose, why.
I love this. And also, when we take great or good care of our body, we can be there really fully for our loved ones and for the work itself as well. Because how can we perform if we're not performing within our body well enough to even function properly? So, yeah.
I remember one time my mother asked me, my mother got inspired by Justice Ginsburg. And my mother, she wanted to start working out. My mother's 82 now, so she's addicted to working out like I can't even imagine. And so she asked me one time, and I said, Mom, I said, I love you dearly. I says, but I cannot care more about you than you care about yourself. So look in the mirror, take off your clothes, look at yourself in the mirror. If you like what you see, don't worry about it. If you don't, then let's do something about it. Now, if you have an excuse, I remember I had a Supreme Court justice quote me to somebody else, and this was Justice Breyer at the time. And he said, Brian, I quoted you to somebody, and I was trying to figure out what I could have possibly said that would have a Supreme Court justice quote a personal trainer to somebody else. I mean, you're a Supreme Court justice. And what he quoted was the excuses that people have given me and the answers that I'll always give them. And so someone would say, well, you know, I'm too busy. I don't have the time. I says, well, are you a Supreme Court justice? I said, they're pretty busy. Are you busier than they are? They would be like, no. But, you know, I'm just too old. And I said, well, Justice Ginsburg is like 80 plus, and she started when she was 66. Are you older than she is? They would be like, well, no. I said, well, I got a bad back. I said, well, she's been through 3 bouts of cancer. So what's your excuse? Any excuse will do. So I always use that when people come, well, I don't have the time. I'm too old. I'm too busy. I got a bad back. There's never, ever not a time to move the body. If the doctor ever gives you a prescription, tells you not to ever exercise, you might as well say you're about to die. The body's made to move.
Yeah. And I know for myself, for instance, if I just sit and work all the time, not moving at all, at some point I cannot perform anymore. I need to get out. I need to be moving around, just because I think the excuses we feed ourselves will not really justify, maybe not even the lifespan that we, left unused, right? Because at some point this will catch up to us, and those decisions and excuses will catch up. So we talk about longevity, but it's really not for people in their, whatever, you name the number. It's really for young folks as well, because you set up yourself for success already now. So it's never too early, right? Yes.
I remember as a child, we would be outside, we would go outside and run, play, ride the bike, do all those things. We didn't have the video games that the people have today. Yeah, we had video games, but we would be outside playing. And as my mother would say, make sure you come in before the night light comes on or the street light comes on. So even when you were in school, you went to school, you had a playground, you would play before you get to school, then you had class, and then at lunchtime you would go out, play on the playground, then you had recess, then when you played again at school, and then when you got home, you played again, and then when you came home, then you did work. So your body is made to move. And as younger adults back in the day, I sound like that old man, get off my grass, but back in the day, we moved a lot more. We ran. I remember I heard somebody tell somebody, yeah, your grandfather used to ride a 10-speed when he was 70 years old. And somebody said, well, what's a 10-speed? I'm like, what? So it's that the body does three things. It assesses, it adjusts, and it adapts. When I trained adjusters every day, I would assess, adjust, and adapt. Your body is always doing that. It assesses the situation that you're in, it adjusts, and it adapts. If you are sitting all the time, then your body's assessing that you're sitting. It's going to adjust your muscles, your organs, and everything because you're now sitting all the time. And then it's going to adapt to that.
Mm-hmm.
The more you move around, the more you become moving. The great thing to have these little smart watches now, and they have these smart watches that if you've been sitting inactive for like more than an hour, it'll be like, hey, you haven't moved, do something. Modern technology, it's great. It can be the beast and it can be the bird. It can be great. It's just all in what we do to utilize. And we have so many tools now to help us move. You may not know what to do. You can Google anything. And the world of Google will tell you and show you how to exercise, what to do, how to do it. Our thing is we just got to show up.
Absolutely. I think action always beat any excuses or stories we tell. So really show yourself. I really love the example where you said, take off your clothes, look in the mirror. Do you like what you see? Then cool. That's the really big one. How many people would dare to do this? Not many.
And for me to tell my mother that.
Well, that's another story. You want to be alive or no? What's the
exactly.
Look at her now. Look at her now. I mean, that's the results speak for themselves. And you mentioned Body Justice, and I mentioned RBG workout. Can you tell people where to find it? Can they follow it? Can they get in touch? What's available?
I am not hard to find, believe it or not. I mean, you can Google me, you can go to Body Justice, you can go to the RBG workout, you can go all of those things, and you will find out how to locate me. You can Google me. And the great thing, Body Justice, it was actually the name of my business before I started training Justice Ginsburg. And it was funny and ironic because Body Justice and B and the J. So B is Bryant, J, and Justice, because I also work for the federal court, which is the judicial branch of the government. So I just kind of put them both together, being a personal trainer, take care of your body. So it's body and justice. Do your body justice. And the website is BDYJustice my email is bdyjustice@aol.com or gmail.com. And the reason why it's BDY Justice instead of BODY Justice, because I take the O out for obesity. So it's just Body Justice. And I always say it all begins with attitude. And funny thing about that word attitude, if you add the letters of attitude up, A being the first letter of the alphabet, T being like the 19th or 20th letter of the alphabet, if you add all of those up, it equals to 100. So your attitude, 100%, is what's going to help you to either succeed or fail.
Wow.
I can't make this stuff up.
This is great. I'm sure somebody was going to go to the recount, but this is great. Thank you. Thank you.
Yep, no, thank you.
I really hope for everybody to rewatch this and also share our conversation with somebody. Perhaps you don't have the guts to tell your mother to stand in front of the mirror, but you have the guts to share this video. And for those people who are ready to hear, listen, and comprehend the message, perhaps this will be their factor, the motivating factor that will allow them to change their life. So thank you so much, Brian. This has been wonderful. I truly appreciate you. And thank you for everything you do.
Hey, thank you so much. I hope it reaches. The only thing that we always are trying to do is we try to do right by people and hope that we make a difference, but we're never entitled to know. So I hope that we make a difference. And I always tell people, hey, I can't care more about you than you care about yourself.
Amen to that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have an awesome and fantastic day.
How amazing was that? And honestly, we had such a quite a long conversation, and I will be posting this video separately as well. So if you are encouraged to share it with somebody who will listen, right? Because we care about our loved ones so much, but we quite often can't find the right words, or we have to, quite frankly, hear it from somebody else to who will give us that advice that it actually will change our lives for better. And I wanted to, first of all, we mentioned RBG book. This is how the book looks like. So go ahead and find it also in description of this video. Read it. Also visit the website. Everything is indicated in description. So I really encourage you to check it out, and also perhaps gift it to somebody who you love, somebody of a certain age who will follow and be encouraged. And one photo that Brian and I discussed after we finished filming is how he was the very last to visit Justice Ginsburg upon her passing. This photo you probably saw. This is from The Guardian, but it really was featured on all news channels, and such a touching moment. And he told me that what he visited Justice Ginsburg there and said, "I will not let you go before we do the 3 push-ups." And he said, 1 for body, 1 for the mind, and 1 for the soul, which just shows how amazing their relationship was. And just really an honor to talk to people like Brian. And so let's finish up with what I call Honest Quickly, where I quickly tell you about a couple of things that you should be keeping in mind this weekend, upcoming week, and so on and so forth. So first thing on Honest Quickly is we're springing forward tonight. So guys, go to bed an hour earlier or be ready to sleep an hour less. We are springing forward 1 hour forward around 2 a.m. local time, wherever you are. Now, if you are into entertainment, movies, Oscars are tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern on ABC. Watch it, discuss it. Also, let me know who you think is going to win. I think there is a clear winner. Whether we'll support it or not, it's another story. By the way, we will be actually featuring an interview and a live report from somebody who was at the Oscars parties, will tell us about everything what happened. This will be next Saturday, so tune in to Honest Weekly to learn about that. Now, this movie I'm going to see tomorrow. It's called Cabrini. It's in the theaters across the United States for a limited time, only until March 13th. Here's a quick synopsis for that. So, arriving in New York City in 1889, Italian immigrant Francesca Cabrini is greeted by disease, crime, and impoverished children. She soon sets off on a daring mission to convince the mayor to secure housing and health care for society's most vulnerable. With broken English and poor health, Cabrini uses her entrepreneurial mind to build an empire of hope unlike anything the world has ever seen. The movie was released just yesterday, on the 8th of March, dedicated to International Women's Day, already got 90% approval from Rotten Tomatoes, which is a mean website if you don't have a good movie. But this movie is actually good. This is not a commercial. I'm just literally going to watch it tomorrow. So in New York. And the rumor is it might be nominated for the Oscars for next year. So check it out. I think it's a great way to perhaps bring your kids, loved ones, to learn more about powerful women that will be encouraging us to be better and do better. But we're done here for now. I promised you a very short live stream, so thank you so much for watching. And just one thought that I want to leave you with is that today we featured 3 powerful women. Of course, a great thank you, and just my gratitude goes to Brian Johnson, who shared such wisdom with us. But the 3 women we spoke about today, Iris Apfel, of course, Justice Ginsburg, and fashion designers for the last 100 years, female fashion designers who dressed women and really overcame that stigma that women should not be becoming designers or even daring to dress other women. It was men's job in Europe, right? As you heard in my report. I hope that by learning those stories and learning about these inspiring individuals, you will be empowered to follow your dream. And one thing is, perhaps your dream is not really fully understood nor supported by others, but as they say, the calling, right? The calling that we want to answer, that really is closely connected to our purpose, is not a conference call, and it's coming to you. So learn about those who overcame obstacles and listen to your gut and really put the work in, right? To quote Brian Johnson, he said, first thing was know your why. Yeah. Then show up and be persistent. And 3 was your purpose. And he said that once you figure out one thing, the other 2 tag along, which is an absolute truth. So I hope you found this useful. For next week, we will be again talking to somebody who was at the Oscars parties, who will be reviewing all the best and worst dressed and all about the celebrity culture, which I'm truly uninformed about, so I'm excited to learn. Mari Fong will be with us next week. We also will have my report from Cabrini. If you missed the movie or want to learn more about it, I'll have the report on that, and we'll add more news to that. So also watch the brand new interview of the Honest Podcast right here on this YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you're watching. I have interviewed a retired lieutenant with the United States Secret Service who has been protecting presidents for over 24 years, from the Reagan era to Obama administration. So he shared so many insights about his work, but also about school safety, because that has become his life's purpose upon his retirement. And he worked in the school system in Florida and has overseen over 104,000 students. So if you're a parent, if you are a family person or a concerned citizen, you're encouraged to watch. So thank you so much for watching, and see you next week at 1 p.m. Eastern right here on Honest Weekly. Thank you.